But you don't see that happening, do you, normally?
So you think that if people are unfortunately passing away, sort of visiting Disneyland or whatever, they should
just learn stuff. Just
get on the internet and watch
this
spiders.
World is amazing.
Attacking ants.
Last week you were saying how good ants were and how they're brainy and they work hard and everything. Yet none of them they didn't know what they were doing. There was panic going on. You watched them again, they were running backwards and forwards, and I remember seeing a programme about ants where they're meant to sort of work together as a team, and if they climb up a person's leg, that person stood on their house, say, and they're all like, oh.
There's a signal and they all bite at the same time. They all bite at once.
Now, if that had done that on that spider, they sort of all go on it, and when they're all in position, one of them sort of goes, no, and it bites, and then it would do some damage, but there was none of that.
But you've seen things like the Towering Inferno, where even humans panic crazily and jump out of windows and things until Steve McQueen comes along and saves the day, so...
Yeah, but at the end of the day, when you're in a Towering Inferno, you were there relaxing on holiday. So, of course you're going to be relaxed, and the shock of it's going to make you go, oh, I wasn't ready for that, I was sat here in my trunks. Whereas that ants should always be alert.
Well, yeah.
Any insect's life should always be...
What, so for a human scooping up 80 of them, put them in a bottle with a giant spider?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's what insects do. Their life, they never relax. That's what's weird with an insect. There's no downtime, is there? It's you wake up, you go and get the food, you build your house. That's what you do, so you're always alert. They shouldn't be sort of running around going, oh, what do we do now? That should be in them.
I love that you're annoyed these poor ants that were bitten to death.
But also, they say they're clever. I was looking at it. If I was an ant, I would have just crawled under the pile of dead ones. Just sit under there, wait for the spider to go. None of them were doing that. They were all staying on one side and the dead ones on the other. So I'm just saying that, you're always sticking up for insects, saying they know what they're doing. They don't.
Where's this come from? When have I ever stuck up for insects? It's you that's follow them, saying they're brilliant and that, and ladybirds are right-handed and Christ knows what.
No, but, so I'd learned that.
Brilliant.
There's nothing to learn from that.
There's nothing you learned from that.
Something about jellyfish, and what else was there? There was a programme on the telly about survival, and a fella who he looks after elephants, and he's in this little hang glider looking for an elephant that he's looking after. He has to keep a track on where it's going and all that, and one day he's saying, oh, I haven't seen the elephant today, and the fella's like, well, look for it tomorrow. He's like, no, it's best if I go and look for it now, because it might go further away or something. He said, oh, well, we should leave it, till tomorrow. So straight away you're going, oh, this is trouble. So he's going out in his glider, sort of at night. He's looking for
that. It's a glider.
It's a glider with an engine. It's one of
light aircraft then.
Yeah. So he gets in that on his own. He's wandering about in the air, looking down. Like I say, it's loads of land. He's looking for one elephant. He's not having much luck. Anyway, I think he gets to a point when he goes, oh, I'm having no luck, I might as well go home. Goes to turn round, something happens, the glider falls to the floor, crashes.
Light aircraft.
Yeah, that crashes, he gets out, he's broke his legs, done his back in, his hands, and he's in a bad way, and he looks at the plane, and that's a wreck, petrol's coming out of it, he's thinking that's not going to fly again, and he has to lie there, doesn't he, for like 48 hours or something. And in that time, everything's being chucked at him. He has a lion wandering around him. A scorpion walked over his leg. Some sort of dangerous snake went in his shoe. What else is there out there? Some sort of bad ants. Just everything that's there that could cause a problem. He had it all on his life.
I haven't seen this, but I suspect there's a lot of conjecture. And it's telling a bit bad ants.
No, just anything that you could think of that's out there to cause you a bit of a problem.
Camels.
He got hot. He got so hot his lips fell off. No, because you have to have a lot of juice to keep your lips sort of how they are.
Right.
So that's the sort of state he was in.
Yeah.
48 hours. And yet he survived in the end. Someone came and found him.
And you thought you were bored doing nothing?
Yeah, no. Well,
he didn't even have the internet.
Yeah, but he had a lot of insects.
What would you do then if you landed, right? Supposing we all land, right? We're shipwrecked, okay? There's no food around. But there's a chance we might be saved, like in a few days. We just got to stay alive just for a few days, okay? Steve offers up his penis.
For what purpose?
Well, it's already he's torn it in the plane crash. Anyways, it's hanging off. You go, okay, listen, lads, let's eat this. This will go 3 ways.
I should be so lucky. Okay, fine, yeah.
I'll look for something else. Because we're surrounded by water. Why are we eating knob? There's loads of fish and everything. There's more fish in the sea than there is stuff on land. That was something else that I've read about how there's more sea life happening. There's loads more.
What do you mean? Than what?
Than stuff happening on land.
Well, yeah, it's a bigger place, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's more. They're all coming further in because it's getting so crowded. Everything's being pushed outwards. So we're going to get to a point where people won't go walking in the sea because there'll be something deadly just floating about near the shore.
Again, that's no information at all.
I don't know.
There's no information in that statement at all.
Yeah, I said how the sea is so overcrowded that everything's being pushed to the edge.
It's not overcrowded.
It is.
You mean things that are in the sea are being pushed to the edge of the sea?
Yeah, because there's new stuff happening all the time. There's new creatures being made, they're changing quickly. They were saying how, like, I don't know, 50 years ago, jellyfish didn't even have a sting.
That's rubbish. Try 50 million and you'll get closer to the truth.
But what I mean is, in terms of, like, land, we all look the same, don't we? We've had 2 legs and things are changing at a really fast rate. So, like, jellyfish were knocking about.
The sea is a much more stable environment than the land anyway.
What are you on about?
Well, I wouldn't have thought evolution is any faster in the sea than land.
Yeah, it is.
Well, no, what's the evidence for this?
Well, I'm telling you now. I'm telling you how jellyfish have changed. And look at them.
How have they changed then? So they didn't. 50 years ago they didn't have a sting. Yeah. Now they have.
Yeah.
Trilbies, they wore trilbies 50 years ago as well.
And they just spoke with a much more, refined accent.
Just that is quite a lot though, isn't it? Because jellyfish are nothing.
But no, you've made that up. That's not a fact. There's no facts come out of this discussion. Not that's interesting. You haven't said anything. Jellyfish haven't changed in 50 years.
No, they have. They've changed a lot in terms of...
Well, they haven't changed in hundreds of millions of years, so I don't know what the 60s had to do with anything. I just don't know what influence the Beatles and Mary Quant suddenly had on jellyfish when they haven't changed for hundreds of millions of years.
There were all this sort of loose, free sex, free love. They were just going berserk.
I know, yeah.
There were no inhibitions amongst the jellyfish anymore.
Things are changing a lot. To think that jellyfish, when they first came out, they were nothing. Jellyfish are nothing, aren't they? They're just a blob. So
when they first came out, when they were first released,
new by Rondell.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, even though they were nothing, they've grown to have a bit of something, just to get by in a busy place. Which
I don't know what you're talking about. It's all guesswork and conjecture.
It's not guesswork. I've been all nonsense. I've been reading all this and watching stuff.
Carl, you haven't learned anything.
Well, that's not entirely true because he's obviously learnt enough to have written a poem about some of these subjects.
Oh, I love his poems. Are you getting into poetry now, properly?
I really like it, yeah.
Is Carl going to read this for me, Steve?
If you want him to.
I think so.
I did one about my kidneys.
What was it called?
Didn't have a name, it doesn't need it.
Ode to a Nephron.
Right, I did 2 about jellyfish.
Excellent.
I don't like jellyfish. They're not a fish, they're just a blob. They don't have eyes, fins or scales like a cod. They float about blind, stinging people in the seas, and no one eats jellyfish with chips and mushy peas. Get rid of them. And then there's just a shorter one about a jellyfish. It would be spiteful to put jellyfish in a trifle.
Yeah, it certainly would.
That's great! That's really good! Because it's jelly! he's done us there, Steve.
Yeah.
That's a really good poem. It would be spiteful to put jellyfish in a trifle.
Yeah.
A little half rhyme.
Yeah.
Do you want the one about my kidneys?
Yeah.
For God's sake, me belly ache. The doctor said it's me kidney. He said he's got to stick a tube up me knob. I said you got to be kidding me. For God's sake, knob ache.
Oh God! I'm so mildly disappointed that they're quite good.
Yeah.
No poet's ever written about jellyfish and kidneys. It's great. Oh God, I think you might have the market sewn up there. It would be spiteful to put a jellyfish in a trifle. I mean, I'm both impressed and fascinated and worried by Carl's new literary outlook. You know, we've said to him, we've tried to make him appreciate the arts and poetry and explaining like what metaphor does and symbolism and all that. But I'm worried it'll backfire, because what if he becomes clever and erudite and then we lose our little endless well of stupidity? What if we lose our little shaved monkey? I mean, these podcasts without,
It's almost like you were evolving into a human.
I mean, you've authored the book.
Well, I have to say, I mean, without at the risk of sounding like we're shamelessly promoting it, I've only just looked at the book today, because that's the first time I've seen it, The World of Carl Pilkington, and I was very impressed by how legitimate it feels. I mean, it does feel like an actual book.
He's put so much work into it. I mean,
he's done drawings, he's done extra thoughts and ideas, and it's very odd to think that has probably gone now into the British Library, which I think is obligated to take a copy of every book published.
Incredible.
I mean, let's be honest, it's not going to be on anyone's bookshelf. It'll be on their lavatory cistern, possibly next to their bed. But nevertheless, it's hardback and it's got pages. It's a real book.
Yeah.
Will you now read some great works? Will you read poetry at all? Or?
Probably not. I don't like reading made-up stories, because
Fiction.
life's interesting enough, innit?
Right.
If I'm going to read someone else's lies, I might as well make some of my own up and save me money. Is what I mean.
But you do read lies and made-up things. You just take them as the truth. Most of the spurious facts and apocryphal tales and ridiculous stories that you read on the internet are, fiction.
Yeah, but as long as it gets you thinking, then it really doesn't matter. Say, like, I was telling you about the sea being full up,
Yeah.
right? How there's too many fish in it, and they're all being pushed out. Then, it was saying about how the jellyfish is changing from a bit back, just being a blob, to now being a blob with stingy bits. You go, and then...
No, I don't. I wonder what he read.
And then I'll think of what other things are in the sea, how are they changing? And then that's when I might do a poem about an octopus with two heads. Because it's got me thinking. So no longer am I just reading someone else's story, spending a full week reading some other story. I've read a little paragraph, and that's got me thinking about
It's inspired you to make great art.
with an octopus with two heads. And you just think, yeah, that would work. That's a good way for them to evolve. They've got all the arms, give them two heads.
They've got all the arms!
And, it would work, because like I've said to you before, it is one big head. Just make it two small hands, looking at how things can move.
It's not looking
But it's not looking at science. You then speculating on an octopus having two heads is of no value, is it, to anyone or anything?
But there's people out there who are bringing out books who are writing stuff like that for sci-fi stuff. And I think, why am I reading
That's
theirs?
entertainment. Everyone knows it's not true. They're doing it to...
But they do more than just say, wouldn't it be great if there was an octopus with two heads? They then paint a world in which this octopus exists
I
and
can do
presumably
that.
causes some kind of narrative interest.
I can do that on my own though, without...
So what's the story of the octopus with two heads?
It's happier in the end. Everyone likes happy ending. He's got company.
But that's not a story, Carl. What? Tell us the story.
What, you made up a story about an octopus with two heads?
No, I'm just saying. I've thought about how the sea's changing. Right, what else is in the sea? Octopus. Right. what's an octopus like? Well, it's just a big head with a load of arms. Right, how would I change that?
I love this thought process.
But it's not a story. This is not a story. It's not anything. It's just some thoughts you've had. It's not
A story is there to make you think and have thoughts.
But what is it that you've thought? You've not. I don't see what you've thought here.
I've just thought, yeah, that'd be alright.
I know, but
Well, like King Kong then. That's only someone who's gone, oh, monkeys are getting better at stuff.
Yes, but it has a story, doesn't it? They go in search.
no, it isn't. It isn't saying monkeys are getting better at stuff. That's not what it's saying. There's lots of themes, but that's not one of them.
Monkeys are getting better at stuff.
No, getting better at stuff. The way they try to he tried to go out with a woman. That's them moving on, isn't it? It's the monkey going, do you know what? I quite fancy her. And you know from the beginning, I mean, that is a story that you go, well, that relationship ain't going to work. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've not gone out with women who I've quite fancied, but then they smoke, and you go, oh, that's enough to put me off. Yeah. So, when a monkey's that big, the thought wouldn't even pass my mind
to go on a date.
This could work out. Sometimes it's just, relationships aren't made for each other. Now, that for a story, you wouldn't think it'd go past page 1, yet you're having a go at me because an octopus has got 2 heads, which isn't that weird when you look at them anyway. I mean, it must be the weirdest thing knocking about on the planet. I'm not kidding you. I've never seen anything so weird. And yet
he's angry because he's not seen anything so weird as an octopus.
It's not yet a story.
What's weird about it? What's strange about an octopus with all the things that could...
Why is it any weirder than a dog?
Because it couldn't be further away from us. A dog has got human eyes. If a jellyfish had a pair of eyes like ours, I probably wouldn't worry about him that much. But like I said to you, it's that way that they haven't got eyes, they're floating about. I can handle some fish, they look like, because they've got eyes, you can make eye-to-eye contact with them. A jellyfish, what are you looking at? It's a snidey thing, like I've said to you. You can see a lot in eyes, do you know what I mean? You say, don't trust him, why? It's his eyes. Jellyfish haven't even got any and I don't trust them. Whereas if it had them, maybe they'd be the odd one that I'd go, oh, that one's alright.
Okay, Carl, I'm just going to throw an animal at you. Tell me how weird it is, what bits annoy you, how you change it, okay? A crab.
How would I change it?
Yeah. Does it annoy you? Do you think it's weird?
They are weird, but they're at that size where they can get away with it.
Yeah, it suits them. Okay, good.
Would I change anything? In a way, what you're saying about things not working, he can't walk forwards. So why hasn't something happened? Why haven't they said, do you know what, these arms are too clumsy, we need to have them so they can slot away easier and we can pull them out when we need them, instead of clumping around with them? Because they do struggle. You see them struggling with their arms. Yet they're still here, they're still doing that, they're still designed that way.
What's the weirdest animal? So you think the octopus is the weirdest animal on Earth?
Yeah. In terms of design and everything, and if you lined everything up, say if I'd come from another planet, and everything was lined up in a row, and they said, right, we're going to give you a crash course in what's knocking about on this planet.
Yeah.
And you go, right, go on then. And you go, this is man, here's a woman, here's a dog, here's a cat, here's an octopus, I go, hang on a minute, what is this?
That jingle, of course, signifies another reading from Carl Pilkington's diary. There was an animal in the paper today that I've never before seen. It's called an alpaca. They are gormless looking. The fellow who breeds them said they are easy to look after because they're used to harsh conditions because they normally live in the mountains. The problem with this is they will turn useless eventually, and then if we tried to bung it back on the Andes, they won't like it. It's like how people win these live like a star for a week competitions. They're not good for anyone. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? If something's living somewhere...
But he's not going to send them back to the Andes, he's presumably breeding them for something else.
Yeah, but say if eventually, the world's getting busy, there's hardly any room, and we go, right, what can we shift here? What's getting in our way that we can shift? Well, those funny looking things came from the Andes, bung them back. Alright, then let's put